stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
So I'm going to just give a real brief introduction, and then Howard's going to talk and introduce everyone who knew Barry and traveled with him. So briefly, Barry joined the club in February '95, became a member of the International Committee. He was also club president from 2007 to 2008. And this is what most of the guests are going to talk about, because I know nothing, except that I know that he traveled to Mexico, Nepal, and Uganda. He organized dental clinics at these locations, and I think Sharon, his wife, went with him. I've been told by Scott Kellerman that he was a runner. He did marathons, and I learned that he was a mountaineer. Andy Wright climbed mountains with him. In addition, I learned that he and Sharon were awarded the Humanitarian of the Year Award by the Hospital Foundation. So I'm going to turn this over to Howard now, and because he's going to lead the discussion, and I will move along. The slide is next, right? Okay. There's two slides up there.
Thanks, Carol. I probably didn't do proper introductions. Megan is here today. She is Sharon and Barry's daughter. Her husband, Stuart Thomas, is with us today. We are being recorded. Greg's recording this. And hello, Barry and Sharon. We're so looking forward to giving you the opportunity to see this. And I think you'll enjoy what's about to come. We have some special friends that have been here, that have been with Barry and Sharon over the years. Sharon's brother, Pat Ward, is with us. Larry Meek, who has been on a number of trips with Barry. Andy, who goes way back in time with Barry to mountaineering and marathons and so forth. The same way with the former Rotarian, Stan Sanderson, who is sitting next to Dan Biebelheimer. Dan has participated in a number of volunteer projects with Barry. So we have one more person here that did planning with Barry, and that person is here in spirit. That's Hal DeGraw. I have Hal's rotary pin here. Hal left us within the last year, and I came to know Hal and Barry very well because they were the co-planners of our trip to Papua New Guinea. And as many of you know, I've mentioned it before, I became involved with the schools there, joined a foundation, the Hargesheimer Foundation, and that became a passion of mine for a number of years. And Hal and Barry were the ones that brought that about. So I would like to think Hal is here in spirit with us today. As Carol said, Barry has done just an immense amount of volunteer work, and I think that we can talk about all the countries from Uganda to New Guinea to Nepal to Bogota, Colombia to Haiti to all the trips he made down to Thousand Smiles Clinic in Mexico. Barry created a legacy, and I am in complete agreement with Carol that legacy needs to be noted. And I think by having this program, Barry and Sharon, by having this program for you, what we're doing is we're creating some historical knowledge within the club. This is similar to other cultures in the world, as we well know, Native Americans, other cultures throughout the world. There's storytelling that's passed down. And so the story of Barry's work as a Rotarian is something that is important for all the newer members of this club to know so that it can be passed down. And as I say, this is a legacy that Barry and Sharon have created. Barry lived life and lives life with service above self. And while many of the newer members have not experienced what Barry was like when he was running marathons and so forth, you've seen what the ravages of Parkinson's have done to him. But he was the most vibrant, helpful planner and a true humanitarian. He would get an idea for a service project and run with it. And believe me, these trips to these foreign countries, organizing dentists to go, other healthcare workers to go, getting people like Harry Auld to jump in and handle all the electrical and the mechanical equipment, overcoming huge logistical issues. Barry would put so many of those together. So the good that he did throughout the world not only benefited those people in all the communities that he served, but it enriched the lives of all those volunteers. And as many of you in here know as Rotarians, that enrichment that we enjoyed was also enjoyed by people that were non-Rotarians, because Barry certainly included those. So I want to conclude by saying I'm grateful that the turnout for those people that have worked with Barry and done things with him. And I'm going to ask Larry Meek to come up now. Larry has a few words to say. And if there's any others that wish to come up following Larry, please do so. Andy put together the slide program, and he'll follow up on that.
So my acquaintance with Barry goes back to the early 80s, and I only knew him as the father of Brady Turner, who was my son Justin's best friend. I didn't really get to know Barry as a leader of the humanitarian missions until 2001, when Barry and Andy Wright and Stan Sanderson and Hal DeGraw stayed with us at our house in Kathmandu because the mission they were going on was canceled because of the Maoists fighting the army and outside of Kathmandu. But the story I want to share with you begins on May 30th, 2005, and that was the day that Moni Mulapati and Pim Sherpa climbed to the top of Mount Everest to plant the Rotary International flag in celebration of Rotary's 100th anniversary. I happened to be in Kathmandu in November of that year and visiting with my old club, Kathmandu Midtown. Moni was a guest, and she was presenting a slideshow about the climb up to the top of Mount Everest. After the meeting, I talked with her and invited her to come and stay with us in Nevada City. And they did so in August of 2006. During the time that Pim and Moni were at our house, Pim developed some pain in his mouth and his tooth area. So we reached out to Barry, and Barry immediately found time to see Pim. The result of that was that Barry had Pim captive in the dental chair for about 6 hours and could talk to him about Nepal. And I can remember talking to Barry after that, and he said it was the first time that there had been somebody in his chair doing dental work, not complaining about the pain, with so many dental procedures. As a result of that, and I just talked to Pim about 2 days ago and asked him what his memories of that were. And he says he doesn't remember anything except it was his first professional cleaning of his teeth. At that time, I think he was about 25 years old. At the same time that Barry had Pim in his dental chair, Moni was having bouts of nausea. And according to Pim, it wasn't something was going on. He didn't know what it was. And so we reached out to Sharon, Nurse Sharon, and so now we have involved both Turners. And so now Sharon's at the house with Moni, and I can remember that we stayed downstairs. She went upstairs, and she came down to the living room where Pam and I were, and we said, well, how's Moni? Is she okay? And Sharon said, she's pregnant. And she had no idea how it happened. Sharon said she was headed back upstairs to give her the talk about that. The bond between Pam and Barry is what inspired our 2008 mission to Pam's village in Changba, Nepal. Kind of between Lukla, Nepal, where you fly in and then hike up to the top of Mount Everest and Kathmandu. That trip included 21 volunteers, and 8 of those were Rotarians. Of course, Barry is the leader. Harry Ald, who was like the Mr. Fix-It man. When nothing could work, Harry could make it work magically. Hal DeGraw, who Howard has mentioned, since passed away. Steve Leedy, who was a dentist at that point in time and has since passed away. Mike Ferguson, who was here today, and I don't know, Mike's job was it, Mike will talk about that maybe, were you like the triage guy, or what did you do? Or you were cleaning and assisting, but you're not a dentist, though? No. So you literally, as a lawyer, have no skill set. Okay. Pam Yazell, who was a member at that time, I think a member in Penn Valley now. Dan Biebelheimer, currently a member, and myself. So, in closing, Barry, I want to thank you for having such a big heart and enriching all of our lives. Thank you.
Okay, Liam has said we have time, and so Stan or Dan, Andy or Harry, please.
I first got to know the Turner family through soccer. Brady was on my soccer team when I was coaching my son's team, and I remember visiting that family. And then one of my birthday presents for my wife in the 90s was an appointment to see the dentist. And so I got to meet Dr. Turner, and I continued to see him on a regular basis. And in 2008, I went in for my regular checkup, and Barry said, "You are not here today by chance. Do you want to go to Nepal with me?" That was his intro. And I looked at him and I said, "Well, you've been asking me that for 10 years, and I couldn't go for family reasons. My wife wasn't well, but life is new and different, and yes." And when I told my wife Patsy about it, she nearly fell off the NID trestle that we were standing on. She was so excited. So we went to Nepal in 2008, and that became not just a dental medical trip, where among us we saw over 300 people and served Pam's village. The version I recall told to me was that when Pam was in Barry's chair for 6 hours, Pam was saying, "Can you come to my village?" And Barry was, "Well, where's your village?" Because he'd been told always, "Oh, you go over there, Annapurna area." But Barry wanted to get close to Everest and climb a higher mountain. So absolutely, we're coming to your village. And so I had the privilege of not only going to that village, but helping carry Pam's little baby to see her grandparents for the first time in 2008. So, and during that trip, I was not a Rotarian yet, but Barry was going around introducing me as a future Rotarian, and it stuck. I realized that there's some really good to be done in the world, and why not with this group? So I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Barry.
Thank you very much for hosting this in honor of Barry. I met him initially I bought a condominium at Brunswick East, and my next door neighbor was Barry Turner. And over the years, I was a physical therapist, and over the years I treated him. He's very active, runner, climber, cyclist, skier. Oh, there was a skiing photo up there. He'd hamstring, whatever, and it was really a pleasure to get to know him. And in the meantime, a patient, Ralph Joyner, asked me if I wanted to become a Rotarian. So in the meantime, I joined, and I hear about this trip that Barry's going to take. And Andy Wright and I and Barry went in 2001 to Nepal, to a village called Tipling. It was a recon mission. We got introduced to the Maoists and all of that. You've heard those stories. And then later on in 2007, I had to check my passport on these. Larry Meek and my wife and I went to Chiangba, Pemba Sherpa's village. But anyway, I also went twice to Mexico with Larry on dental missions as an interpreter. Not a very good one, but I tried. And then we also did two sponsored Rotarian with Gil Matthew, Pamela Giselle. We went and built concrete floors in the dump in Mexico City. And another fellow, former Rotarian, Frank Pedrick, and myself, we went down to Oaxaca. Frank is also deceased, by the way. Funny, a lot of people have died. But anyway, it was a pleasure. Barry was my neighbor. He was a mentor, a role model. I didn't know he was a Rotarian till I became a Rotarian. It was great to have him as a fellow Rotarian. And Barry, I also consider you, a hero. You're a hero to me. So I hope you're doing well, and know that this group really cares about you. So I guess that was my timer. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to say a few words about Barry and how I knew him and what. He was a dentist, and I had a dental building, and so he was a dentist in there for about 10 years. Now, I've known him for about 40 years. And anyway, we go way back, and we went on a lot of trips together. We had a lot of similar interests. We used to climb mountains with our boys, separately, but the same mountains. Anyways, he's basically the reason I'm in Rotary. I was in his dental chair one day, and he said, "Hey, we're going over to Nepal. You want to come?" And I said, and he says, "Great, I'll get you a ticket." So that's kind of how it started. But I've been on several of these Rotary trips before I was a Rotarian, and 3 times to Africa and Nepal and all over the place. And we've had some really, really great times. But anyway, some of the memorable experiences we had, I remember being over in Chamba in Pem's village over in Nepal, and all the stuff we did over there. It was crazy. They had buildings falling down, and I remember you were working on the windows, Larry, and also anyway, a lot of things happened, but we always had a good time, and I learned a lot. And he got me into Rotary when I think he was president, maybe a year after, and been doing it ever since. So one of the main things I learned from Barry is it's better to give than receive. And it was a great lesson to learn, and part of being Rotary. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Barry, and thanks for all the memories.
Well, Barry was not my dentist, but he and I, we joined Rotary almost within 6 months of each other over 30 years ago, and he actually kind of inspired me many times, but then especially because I was intimidated, frankly, to join this club. And Barry did it, and he was just such a natural. I was trying to remember our first trips together. We knew each other, I think, through friends of family at the hospital, and we ended up doing trips together. He would be maybe, I think, 17 years older than me, and we'd say, hey, we're going to go ski from Mammoth to Rock Creek. It's 50 miles. We're carrying our stuff on our backs. Barry's like, I'll go. And, I mean, he would just come along and do these things with us. So we did a couple of trips like that. We went on to Shasta. Later, we went with Brady, and we went to Mexico. We climbed the high volcanoes. And there I was with Barry at 17,000 feet, and he's feeling very poorly. And he had to lay down in this hut for a little while and recover. And then he rallied, and there we went, all the way to the top. Watching him lead all the trips that we did together, some of the ones I went to Uganda once. Barry did that as his father was home at the end of his life, and Barry had this courage and leadership that he committed to run that trip anyway. You could never tell. I mean, he just compartmentalized it, I think, and an amazing leader. So I was glad I could help out in Mexico. Certainly, I had my experience with Stan and Barry and Nepal, and getting separated from our porters and basically hanging out in a hut in a blizzard for an afternoon with Barry was kind of interesting because we didn't know where we were going to sleep that night. Anyway, he just touched so many of our lives, and he was a role model and a mentor to me. I was so glad that he touched me for all those years, and we certainly wish the best for you always.
Hold on just a second, Greg. Barry, congratulations on achieving the honorary membership in this club. And I would ask that all of you please stand. Let's say and give a big round of applause to Barry. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you guys for that. I think it's safe to say that we love you, Barry, and thank you for shedding light on how great of a person Barry was, a great Rotarian, great humanitarian, great dentist, all of it. We love you, Barry.